Remember, you can watch us live on Facebook at Ogun TV and Ogun State Television, on YouTube at OGTV Abeokuta, and on OGTV website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: on X at Ogun TV, Instagram at Ogun State Television, or you can download the OGTV app on Google and Apple Play Store. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to conduct a thorough investigation into the activities of the fictitious Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council and all related matters, demanding a comprehensive report within 30 days. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, revealed the fresh directive in a statement signed titled President Tinubu orders ICPC to investigate Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. Ononuga said the directive follows the discovery of the fictitious council, which the presidency said was never established by the federal government and has no basis in the law, presidential instruments, executive approval, or other lawful acts of government. President Tinubu directed the ICPC to investigate the forged appointment letters and official documents allegedly used by one Adeni Adeyemi Matthew, who presented himself as Director General of the so-called council and falsely claimed to be a presidential appointee, it stated. Ogun State government has secured another $100 million investment in its agricultural sector as Presco PLC and oil palm business is set to commence operation in the state. The group chief executive officer of the company, Adewale Adewikawe, made this known during an interview with journalists after a meeting with Governor Dapo Abiodun in his office at Okimoso, Abeokuta. Adewikawe, who said that the company runs oil palm plantation across the entire value chain from the plantation to the mill and the final product, added that the company is happy to be investing in the state, saying they appreciate what the governor is doing to make the state an investment destination of choice.
We're looking over $100 million, over $150 to $200 million investment I want to bring in the oil plantation in Ogun State. And we believe this will actually create jobs. This will also improve the revenue for the state. At the same time, like I said, we are also going to be part of the Ishaya that the government is running in Ogun State.
On his part, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Bolu Wotomo, disclosed that the company, which is a 2 trillion naira market capitalization company, recently raised a lot of funds from the capital market, which he said will be put to use in the states.
Relate economic growth, provide massive employment opportunities for our teeming youth in Ogun State, and it's also in tandem with the aspiration of His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, CON, to ensure that private-public partnership thrives in Ogun State.
Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Aribabu, has affirmed that the educational sector repositioning mission of Prince Dapo Abiodun's administration will continue to the very last day in office. Professor Aribabu gave the affirmation after a facility tour visit to Government Technical and Vocational College, Shabo, and monitoring of Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, to some schools in Abeokuta South local government area of the state, emphasizing government's commitment to the revitalization of schools and making them retain their pride of place when it comes to academic excellence. The commissioner noted that his visit to the technical college was to monitor the installation of the gadgets that were acquired by the state government, such as embellishment, monogramming and sewing equipment, noting that he was impressed with the qualities of the machines that were procured. He also said the monitoring of BECE gave his team the opportunity to see some schools that needed interventions in certain areas, promising to carry out notable rehabilitation and classroom building projects before learners resume for the next academic session.
Like even the laboratories in some of the schools, like Abeokuta Girls Grammar School, and of course the technical college. We went to
the technical college at Shabo. And then we saw the ongoing installation of the equipment that had been acquired by the state government as part of the positioning of the TVET sector. And I'm actually very proud and very impressed about what we saw. We saw the embellishment equipment, we saw the one for monogram, we saw there were other equipment that are meant for sewing, industrial type, and so on and so forth.
Professor Igbabu therefore expressed his satisfaction over the proactiveness of school principals, decorum maintained by the learners, and the timely and adequate supply of examination materials. The principal of Anglican Girls Grammar School Junior Unikolobo, Mrs. Francisca Adebajo, and her counterpart in Awaridin High School, OGTV, Mr. Wasiu Lawal, appreciated the commissioner for the diligence in ensuring that the teaching and learning environments were made conducive for promoting the legacy of the founding fathers of education in the state. Schools visited were St. John's Anglican High School, Kuto, Anglican Girls Grammar School, Unikolobo, Nawaruddin High School, OGTV, and Government Technical and Vocational College, Shabo. Still on education, for decades, the junior and senior secondary school divide has been a familiar landmark in the Nigerian education system. Now the federal government is moving to dismantle that barrier. Testimony Komalafe reports on a bold proposal to replace the current GSS to SS structure with a seamless 12-year continuous basic education program designed to curb the nation's alarming school dropout crisis. Her report.
Every school day begins with the promise of a better future. Yet, for millions of Nigerian children, that promise is cut short. Government data now paints a stark picture out of 24 million children enrolled in primary school. Only 4 million make it to the end of senior secondary education. This is a staggering 20 million dropouts who disappear from the system before completing their basic education.
According to the information, the government reports that we have 20 million school dropout students. So that is huge. So they have to look at solution to that. So I think one of the solution the Minister of Education is looking out is actually the seamless transition to secondary school so that we can have retention for the dropout students.
We ask ourselves why. Is it because of the two segments we have in secondary school? Is that the purpose? Is that the reason? People that started 634, they knew that would be dropout. The best thing is that whatever policy we are going to implement, we must do that evaluation. After 5 years, we need to ask ourselves, have we been able to achieve the objective?
Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, describes the current GSS to SSS separation policy as a failed system that creates unnecessary administrative bottlenecks and physical barriers to progression. By merging these divisions into a single 12-year uninterrupted basic education model, the government aims to eliminate the transition hurdles that often lead students to abandon their studies at the junior secondary level. Beyond simply fixing the structure, stakeholders argue that this reform is an opportunity to modernize what happens in the classroom. The focus is shifting towards a more integrated curriculum, one that prioritizes foundational literacy and earlier exposure to vocational skills. The goal is to ensure that every graduate leaves the system not just with a certificate, but with marketable skills ready for the 21st century economy.
Vocational studies should be part of every student from the junior secondary, not at NYSC stage.
Let us make sure that our students too are working like the Chinese, Indonesia and everything, students. If a JSS3 student in China can produce an asset, what happened to our own student here?
But the reform is not without its critics. Experts warn that structural changes alone are not a magic bullet. Without concurrent investment in school infrastructure, teacher welfare, and the deployment of digital learning tools like the Nigerian Learning Passport, the systemic issues of overcrowding and low teacher quality may persist. As the proposal heads to the National Council on Education for approval, the nation watches closely. The measure of success will not just be the abolition of a policy, but the creation of a system that truly keeps Nigerian children in the classroom and prepares them for life beyond it. Testimony Komalafe, OGTV News.
A colposcope machine has been unveiled for use at the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, OGTH Shagamu, by the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun. The medical device used to closely examine the cervix, vagina and vulva for abnormalities that may not be visible during a routine pelvic examination was donated by Maria Yabo Shomiola. It was commissioned during the yearly free medical outreach organized by the PET project of Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun. The Ajoshi Foundation, in collaboration with US-based medical specialists from K-Care Beyond Borders Incorporation. Margaret Okunola has the details.
Health, they say, is wealth. This was demonstrated during the annual medical mission carried out by the Ajoshi Foundation in collaboration with K-Care Beyond Borders at Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, where various medical conditions were attended to free of charge. This year's edition saw the commissioning of a colposcope by the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, as part of renewed efforts to fight cancer.
Health is wealth. You see people walking around and looking okay, but the minute that they're diagnosed with something, their whole life changes. It's important for you to pay attention to your body. It's important for you to check when there's anything that you think is abnormal.
In attendance were members of the Spouses of Ogun State Government Functionaries Association, healthcare workers, and the wife of the senator representing Ogun West Senatorial District, Mrs. Temitope Adeola.
This foundation has gone a long way to helping the citizen of Ogun State, and through her a lot of things has also been achieved. So I think this is a good thing that she's doing, and I encourage others to support as well.
The medical mission featured free surgeries for various conditions to provide succor to patients who had been scheduled for procedures but could not afford the bills.
There's a way they can go in and do like quick screen. It's very cheap. And if they saw something abnormal, they can bring them in and do the colposcope. What that does is it's able to magnify, they can take some biopsies and be able to send it to the lab. So with that, if they detect those cancerous cells earlier, they can treat. It's treatable. The First Lady is all about prevention, prevention, prevention. It's much cheaper to prevent than to be treating when you have diagnosis that's already severe. And we don't want that. That's why she is so daring and cares about this. It expands every year. So each year we had different doctors. So this year is the first year we have an orthopedic surgeon.
On behalf of the beneficiaries, Bola Faboale described the intervention as timely, saying it has greatly supported the well-being of residents across Ogun State.
We appreciate the kind gesture of Her Excellency in person of Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, and of course the Excellency, that's the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, CON. This is a very noble exercise.
The Chief Medical Director, Dr. Gumi Fatugashi, presented an award of humanitarian service to Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun. The colposcope machine provides a magnified, illuminated view of the tissues of the cervix, vagina, and vulva, allowing healthcare providers to detect precancerous changes, cervical cancer, genital warts, inflammation, or other lesions. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
As the Ogun State House of Assembly commenced the second reading of a bill titled Ogun State Safe Termination of Pregnancy Law 2026, the Speaker, Right Honorable Ludai Selemide, has assured that the proposed legislation would undergo a rigorous process to ensure that its provisions do not conflict with existing laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and other extant legislations. The Speaker gave the assurance shortly after the members conducted a debate during the second reading of the bill on the floor of the State House of Assembly, Ukemoso, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho was there, and details of his report are presented in this package.
Leading the debate on the bill, the sponsor and chairman House Committee on Health, Honorable Wahab Haruna, described the proposed legislation as a critical intervention aimed at addressing the persistent challenge of maternal mortality and morbidity in the state. He explained that the bill sought to establish a clear legal and medical position under which termination of pregnancy might be carried out by qualified medical practitioners in approved health facilities, including where the life of any pregnant woman is at risk.
Mr. Kudasa, the objective of this bill are therefore to reduce maternal mortality and mortality.
Aligning with the sponsor's position, Honorable Basunde Teller noted that the bill was aimed at promoting safe medical interventions in high-risk pregnancies, where termination is medically recommended. Contributing to the debate, Honorable Lukman Adeleye stressed the need to adopt globally accepted practices in reproductive health care, saying that the proposed legislation will provide legal and institutional frameworks for a safe pregnancy termination in legally recognized circumstances. He added that it would protect victims of rape from trauma and contribute to reducing maternal mortality. On his part, Honorable Oluwaseun Adesanya and Honorable Yusuf Sharif, alongside other lawmakers, supported the fact that the bill would boost access to the required information and medical intervention necessary to protect the women. They noted that the bill, which was meant to reduce maternal morbidity and mortality, promotes safe motherhood and reproductive health rights, and to establish the conditions for the safe termination of pregnancy in accordance with legal indications and for connected purposes, was necessary to reduce maternal mortality. Speaker Elemide in his submission reiterated that the House Committee on Health and other relevant stakeholders will subject the proposed legislation to a thorough scrutiny to ensure that it aligns with the Constitution and other applicable laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while addressing the policy objective of the bill without creating redundancy or legal conflict.
But where we are working on it, we should look at collision with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have to look at it critically. During the stakeholders, since there is no representing voice, I'm not making my voice by in support of what we have said. But I'm just saying that we should look at the law critically so that we will not produce an half-baked law.
The bill was subsequently committed to the House Committee on Health for further legislative action.
The appointment of the 24th head of service in Ogun State, Olariwaju Saka, has been described as a testament to years of dedicated service, exemplary leadership, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to service. The State Commissioner in the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Olatunji Odunlami, said this when he led the management team of the ministry and its sister agencies on a facilitation visit to the office of the head of service at Okemoson, Abeokuta. Odulami said he is confident that the head of service's wealth of experience, administrative acumen, and passion for excellence will further strengthen the service and inspire greater productivity across ministries, departments, and agencies of government. He also took advantage of the visit to brief the head of service on some of the notable achievements recorded by his ministry since the restructuring of the former Ministry of Urban and Physical Planning and the defunct Urban and Regional Development Board in 2020. The head of service, Olariwaju Saka, in his response, described the commissioner as a highly professional, disciplined, meticulous, seasoned administrator and urged the workers to keep tapping from his wealth of experience. He commended the ministry for keeping the flag of expertise and due process flying, as the state has not remained the same since the assumption of office.
Transformation agenda, Mr. Commissioner. It will be disheartening to hear at Treasury Board that the last year of 8 years administration, the IJR is dwindling, which has never happened in the last 7 years. Let us surpass it in double. I know you can do it.
In another development, the head of service called on teachers in the state to equip themselves with modern-day technical know-how, master the subjects, and be good role models to their students. He made the Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools, ASUS, Ogun State Charter, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, Schools and Colleges branch in Ogun State. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has extended the ongoing continuous voter registration (CVR) exercise by 2 weeks in Ogun State to enable more eligible residents to register ahead of future elections. According to press statements issued by the Ogun State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Feiji Mishashe, the exercise, which was initially scheduled to end on 10th of July 2026, will now continue until Sunday 26th of July 2026, including weekends. The Commission said the extension followed a review of the nationwide registration exercise and feedback received from state offices, political parties, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders. INEC also announced the introduction of a self-service online voter registration platform for the first-time voters. The platform is expected to become operational from Wednesday, 8th of July 2026 through the Commission's dedicated CVR portal. The statement explained that the self-service option would allow eligible first-time voters to begin and complete their voter registration process, including biometric capture, using their personal devices without visiting an INEC office. According to the Commission, the system is equipped with identity verification, biometric validation, and other integrity checks to ensure the credibility and accuracy of the National Register of Voters. INEC